My name is Billy Lurk, though there aren't many people who remember. For years, I stayed hidden, captain of a ship called the Dreadful Whale. I was a smuggler, fence, and maybe traitor.
Now realizing that there was a standalone expansion to Dishonored 2, I was ready to hop into Death of an Outsider and see what this game was all about. Dishonored Death of an Outsider is a 2017 action-adventure game developed by Arcane Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks. It was released in September of 2017 for PlayStation 4, Windows, and Xbox One. The game takes place in the coastal city of Karnaca after the events of the previous title. It follows the former assassin Billy Lurk, voiced by Rosario Dawson.
Bex, do you ever go ass to mouth?
You never go ass to mouth.
You may know Rosario Dawson as Claire from Daredevil, or more recently her ongoing role as Asuka. As she reunites with her mentor Dodd, Michael Madsen. Michael Madsen has been in Kill Bill Volume 2 and Reservoir Dogs. Kill, the mysterious entity known as the Outsider, is voiced by Robin Lord Taylor, who plays the Penguin in the Gotham TV show, or played the Penguin anyway.
Such a good boy.
The game is played from a first-person's perspective, and the player has access to a variety of supernatural abilities to complete missions in a multitude of ways, from stealth to purposeful violent contact. On the mission heading to find Billy's mentor Dodd, you head into a room filled with cult members and choosing to fight. On the mission heading to find Billy's mentor Dodd, you head into a room filled with cult members, and choosing to fight led to an insane moment of 10 plus bodies piled up in an in-ground torture chamber, no pool included, sadly. While Dodd sits in an electric chair, and one by one, Rocky takes out enemy after enemy. I would have honestly thought the cultists would have stopped coming, but they had a death wish, which is a common trait of cultists.
When I point to you, you drink.
Fuck yeah. It's a good day to die.
A lot of times as we played through our first impression, it felt like the best course of action was to go sword swinging. The two things you collect throughout the game are bone charms and paintings. The bone charms are used to customize various abilities you obtain throughout, while paintings are used to increase your coins, which are used to purchase any number of items, including gadgets, upgrades, ammo, and other resources. The few bone charms we encountered were guarded, and so we were left with no choice but to attack rather than stealth. As we continued throughout the game, I noticed that the levels from Dishonored 2 were reused. So while the game has great new characters and excellent voice acting, I still felt like I was replaying Dishonored 2, which was disappointing, as well as also I liked Dishonored 2, so I wasn't like angry or upset by this. It's just, it feels like when you're playing the same game twice, it gets kind of boring. I always loved the variety from Arcane Studio titles, and while Death of an Outsider reuses the same levels and even weapons, it doesn't take away from the fun factor, as well as the variety in how you can play each level. Death of an Outsider isn't an all-new experience, but it's still as enjoyable as Dishonored fan. I'm giving Dishonored Death of an Outsider a middle-of-the-road first impression score of 2.5 out of 5, and I probably would go back to finish it if I was bored. Now I'm going to pass it off to Rocky to have him give you his first impression of Dishonored Death of an Outsider.
Dishonored Death of the Outsider was actually my first Dishonored experience. Now, considering this was an expansion, I understand I probably should have played the other games, but I have definitely heard of them, and had heard they were extremely good, like, stealth type games with variation in its gameplay. So I was definitely excited to try this out over on the Xbox Game Pass. The game follows Billy Lurk, a former assassin who is voiced by Rosario Dawson, which was definitely a fun little thing for me to see, because I did not know that she did the voice here, and it is definitely fun to hear her throughout. And from what I'm told, the gameplay is of course fairly similar to Dishonored and Dishonored 2. You have a wrist-mounted crossbow, as well as like a small sword, and other stuff such as landmines and grenades that you can find throughout the game and utilize to kill enemies in various different ways. You can also decide whether you're going to sneak up on enemies and brutally murder them, or how you're going to take characters out in general. And one of the main things that is really fun to use here is these supernatural abilities that the character gets. For example, you can kind of put a marker on an area that you can look at, and you can use that to teleport to different areas. This creates a lot of verticality within the overall layout, and also adds for there to be different areas that you wouldn't know about if you just didn't manage to find the right spot to teleport to. Also used as a puzzle mechanic in a way, making it so that you have to use displacement in order to actually get through to the different maps that you, or parts of the map that you need to get to. And another cool thing that you can do is they have semblance, where basically you can copy the face of another person in order to temporarily pretend to be them. And also through the various missions that you take on, you can pick up contracts at black markets that are done or used to do various side tasks. For example, like you can kill a mime and you're supposed to make it look like a suicide, which is a pretty like fun little side thing. And this map definitely has a lot to explore, and the game has all sorts of pretty interesting challenges for you to complete. The game is quite fun, and honestly, the main thing that I would say is it just doesn't fully stand out. Probably this is because it's not supposed to be a standalone title, and so therefore, like, the plot and story of course aren't going to be the best, but definitely it was fun enough in order to engage me throughout the time that we played it. Far, I would have to give this a 3 out of 4 stars. It is pretty solid. I'm loving the mechanics. It's really fun to use some of them. However, again, it just doesn't stand out all that much, so I can't really give it above a 3. Alright, back over to Jason.
Thank you, Rocky, and now we want to hear from you. Have you played Dishonored, Death of an Outsider? What is your favorite Arcane Studios title? Maybe it's Redfall.
You wish you were one of us.
Let us know in the comments down below. Also down below, you'll find a description where me and my brother Rocky's all other socials are located, as well as a link to our main channel, Smokin Sessions, where we do movie reviews, watch-alongs, and all sorts of content that we're sure you'll enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, as well as hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on videos like this from us in the future. Thank you so much for watching and or listening to this video, and we will see you all in the next gaming session.
This out of my head to the depths of the universe. It's a spell or a chance just to open up a newer curse.
Dow.
Lurk. There's nobody left. You did well here.